Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond, and this is
Jamar. It's boy Jamar84. Follow me on Twitter.
Yes. Okay, so we are. He is visiting me. We plan on going out tonight. So while he is here, and it's kind of too early to go we decided to do a video about Lil Scrappy funky ass,
Funky, coon, ignorant son.
all of that,
all that good stuff and more.
All right. So, okay, recently, Lil Scrappy called into TMZ and he made some statements because part of it I kind of agree with.
It was like at the beginning he sounded tough, but then he just
started to go downhill. I was like, oh,
and you can see the change on the interviewers' faces. They was like, oh,
what? All right, so basically he says that Frank Ocean coming out the closet is a good thing, and people being open about
who they are.
He says put a lid on the AIDS. Something he said something about it controls the AIDS.
With people, he basically said like men who are gay.
We're gonna put a link in the bottom so y'all can hear it.
Yeah, men who are gay or what have you, them being honest and not being down low fucking other females it
makes the men, the women, choose the real men. Because he's saying that gay men are not real men. The real straight men are the ones, they'll be able to date those instead of dating the down low or / gay men and not catch AIDS.
Yeah, it basically like them saying that all gay men coming out and telling the truth is putting like a cap on the spread of HIV and AIDS. And it's like, well, and even the interviewer said, well, that kind of implies that all gay men have AIDS.
Right. Okay. now, playing devil advocate, like I said, is and has been the demographic that is affected by AIDS the most and HIV is and has been the gay male population. That's the truth. That's the truth. Now, the way Lil Scrappy is saying it is like that majority is like 80%, but no, it's really only like 60% of the people cases are gay males or whatever. And other fact is that the new diagnosed people, the new cases,
the uprise,
black women.
I wonder why.
Wow.
So it's like,
and the theory of one of the theories of why is because of the down low men. So there is some truth and justification in what he's saying. As ignorant as some parts of it is, there is some underlying truth of that matter.
It's just the way I think it's the way he worded it and his choice of words.
Yes, and certain things are kind of ignorant in what he said, but certain things are based on truth. But what I want to talk about is also the accountability of females. It is their fault that they are sneaking around having sex with, anybody outside of you if you are in a committed relationship with them. That is wrong and it's their fault. But also,
it's your body.
It is your body and you have to take accountability for what goes on with it. End of the day, you decide to put on a condom because a lot of times these are not committed relationships that you're having raw sex with. These are people that you're just hooking up with. You've been hooking up with them for a long time, so you're fucking them without condoms. These are not your husbands. These are not, if
not
we
even
keep
your baby
real,
daddies. These
you know what I'm saying?
Jump offs.
These are, a lot of times, you're just jump offs. Why are we just blaming the gays? I don't understand it. It
makes it easier for them, and it distracts them from the real issue.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
It is what it is.
Now, to ask you, since you are a gay male, why is it that the LGBT community has been beat upside the fucking head with the AIDS, HIV stick, and I still see gays having raw sex in videos on XTube, on MyVista, porn, in real life, hookups. Oh, I hooked up with this dude off of BGC. I hooked up with the dude off of A for A. And they are having raw sex with random motherfuckers. And we have been beat upside our head. The LGBT people, honey, it's this big AIDS stick that they have been beating us since the 80s. Why do you think that gay people are ignoring this fact? It's okay. It's almost okay. I'm sorry. It's almost okay for the straight people to be ignorant and stupid about it because it's not okay. But it almost is because it hasn't really been beat on them. Because, but from the 80s, they said it was gay males. It was gay white males at first. Gay males. Disease from the 80s. So, if that's now we've proved that that's wrong, that's not true, it has no sexual orientation, race, why is it that we still have this? Why is it when we go to a gay club, you see motherfuckers still in the lube that's sitting on the counter, but all the condom thing is full? Because at gay clubs, when you go to gay clubs, you see these big free condoms and lube, and the lube be gone, and the condoms be full.
And then people was doing Twit pics and Instagram of Sizzle and all the other gay events, and they would go to the local CVS and all the Fleet and Enemas gone.
And the condoms
full. All the magnums.
Well, I don't know. That might be just a number situation. It's only 2 fleets. And it's a lot of dicks you got. And Sizzle, it's a lot of dicks you got experience at Sizzle. But,
to answer the question, the only sensible thing is, I think it has something to do with the whole age thing. Like, the babies raising babies, how they're not really learning the valuable lessons, and even if they're taught and they're exposed to it, they're not really listening. Does it make sense? Where they just kind of feel like, oh, it can't happen to me. That's probably some old but I think it has to deal with that mentality of this is scary. Something scary like that they don't want to think about can ever happen to them, so they kind of ignore it and suppress it in their mind. That's the only reason. That's the only justification I can find for it, is that they don't want to believe that it's true. They want to kind of push to the side and just think like, oh, that can't happen to me, or the chances of it happening to me are too small for me to worry about. And then next thing you know, you go to the doctor's office and they have bad news.
I can see that. I can see that, but I'm
otherwise, I can't figure out why.
I don't know. I'm like, is it just because when I was in high school, and that was a long time ago, it was in the 90s. When I was in high school, it was like, that's when the people who hate you, that's the first thing that they say. So how can you ignore that? Like, AIDS for me would be, would be the worst death that I could ever have. Not to die of, not just because of the physical stuff that will happen to you, but because it would be I told you so from every motherfucking body that was in my life who coming up, oh, you gonna be a faggot, you don't die AIDS, and that's what all that shit.
You would fall into exactly the same stereotype
of that they are condemning you to. It was impossible for me to ignore AIDS and what AIDS was, and you see it so much in this community. You go on any gay site, they free HIV testing, and
in the banners,
the banners, you cannot ignore it. You can't get away from it. So how are people ignoring it? Are they just saying fuck it?
I was going to say they're suppressing it. They're not uneducated. It's not like they're not educated. They just don't want to pay it any attention. They feel like it's just something that people want to sweep under the rug, and they don't really want to talk about it because it makes them uncomfortable.
And do you think that the education about HIV has also did the opposite, in the sense that now we know that it is not a death sentence? Mm-hmm. It's not. Some people feel like, I can just get my medicine. I'm just going to get my medicine and live my regular life and enjoy sex.
But I don't think they realize. Like that? Well, that's a possibility, but I don't think people that think like that realize what taking your medication means. Like, you have to take that religiously. Like, you can't just be like, oh, for the rest of your life. I missed,
But some people take that. I think they don't think they don't think it through. I think they're like, well, they got medicine for it now.
Well, that's that's why they need those people that have it and go through it to tell their stories about what they have to do, what the kind of doctor visit they have to schedule. Because people like to, they have to do their lavish trips and just live this, the gay lifestyle. But it's interrupted. You don't have to worry about these medications, these doctor visits, these vaccines, and make sure you're scheduling everything on time. Because if not, that's it.
And let me say this. I may be. I want to say that this is true, but I'm not. Please correct me if I got the understanding wrong. So, and excuse my ignorance if I do.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what, from my understanding, there are only a few HIV medications. I want to say it's like 9, 10, 11. I don't know the exact number, so I may be wrong with that. But it's only a few. And when your body gets immune to, let's say that it's 9.
Mm-hmm.
When your body gets immune to this one, you can't take it anymore. So you switch to another one. When your body gets immune to that one, you can't take that one anymore. So you only got 70 left. Say that one of them just doesn't work for you. Your levels are not going down, so you can't take that one. And the next one does the same thing. You can't take that one. You go to this one, your body get immune to it. So now you only got 4 left. Something happens where you can't take this one anymore. You stop taking it and your body gets immune to it. And you keep going down till it's not any more medicines that you can take to wear you out, to keep you undetectable. That is the understanding that my friends who I know personally, who are going through it, that is what they explain to me. That your medication can help you prolong your life, but it's just not something it's not a cure. That's what my understanding of it.
So is the medication like, is it keeping it at bay? Is it kind of a way to where you can still live the same life you had before? It's just kind of keeping it under wraps, or is it
it's keeping your viral load down? It's helping your body, your immune system fight the virus, so the virus doesn't overpower you as quickly, even though it's going to happen eventually.
So it's just prolonging.
It's just helping your immune system fight it.
Yeah, and if you're catching this, because people that's doing this are like younger than me, like in their early teens and late teens, and so this has to last. Like if you have those 9 medications, they have to last for the next 50, 60 years. Granted, they don't come up with anything else.
Right.
So let's say in the next maybe 10 or so years, your body gets so used to these 4, like they said, they're gone, and then you're maybe in your mid to late 30s, and you still have at least, well, I'm not sure what the lifespan. I'll just say maybe 80 or so. You still have about at least 50 years left, and you're going to depend on 1 pill per decade,
right,
to keep working.
So I don't know. I think that people don't understand exactly what it is. They do, but they think like, oh well, they got medicines now.
That's not something that we have so much on our minds already as far as the dangers of just being gay, whether being beat up or discriminated against, all that good business. We don't need to worry about our own health on top of all that.
That's true.
So
anyway, then it goes going back to Lil Scrappy and the whole Frank Ocean bi thing. Do you think that there are truly bi people?
I believe that there are some truly bi people. And I've questioned, though, that those people that label themselves or identify with being bisexual, what the percentage is of those that actually have the 50-50 preference, or those that kind of have like a 40-60, 30-70, like those that'll be like, I can be emotionally attached to a woman, but I will have a greater chance of being emotionally attached to a man.
But but if that's the case, if it's is a person less bi if it's 70-30 compared to 50-50? No.
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 But it just seems like there's a possibility that there's like they're bisexual, but they have a preference, if that makes sense.
I think that this is my thing.
I think the words I'm using are wrong.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. I just think that I've always said that sexuality is fluid. It's not black and
is
white.
This.
So even if somebody is 50-50, it's probably no one that is exactly 50-50. It's probably somebody who is very close. Because remember, we talked about this. I told you it's kind of like a bag of chips. I like sour cream this day. I like barbecue this day. I like sour cream for a different reason than I like barbecue. But I like them both equally. That's what preferences is about. And I don't. And a lot of times I understand like I said about the AIDS thing. The straight people, I understand them being ignorant to some things because
they don't
not
know.
Exposed to a lot.
They don't know.
They kind of.
You kind of give them a passway on some stuff.
On some things, but when I see gay people say, "Oh, they not bi, he just gay," or like they make it seem like there is no fluidity in sexuality. When they talk to heterosexuals that they're trying to convince to accept them, they say stuff like, "I just like men. It's just you like
it
pussy. I like this. It just is what it is."
But,
you know what I'm saying? But then when it comes to us judging somebody else, we don't take that same fluidity into account when we're judging them. I think, just like black people, I think gay people can be some of the most hypocritical people on this fucking planet. Like, you would hear them say something, kind of like,
Lil Scrappy.
Kind of like Wade on our vocal show.
We should link that too, because that was a hot mess.
But he said that was him.
Yeah.
That was it was a made up story just for kicks.
But you know what? When it comes, people the gays trying to, making this whole hoopla about people being gay, I feel like they get a kick out of
somebody else being
or, like, ooh, we got another one.
Or like, oh, y'all thought he was, y'all loved him, y'all thought he was one of y'all, he one of us.
I clapped that tea from
the Exactly. I think that there are some gay people like that.
There are many people gay like that, that are gay like that.
That are... it's just shady. I think just like straight people, just like anybody else, they are that.
What is this fascination within the human society of people's sexuality? Like, the straights are fascinated trying to call people suspect. The gays are forever trying to clock people and say he likes dick. It's like, why does that excite us so much?
I think that folks are messy on either side. People are messy. And sexuality is a big part of our life. It is a big part of our life. Actual sex and all of that, it decides who you marry. It decides your procreation, what genes you're passing on. It decides sex is involved in, the continuum of the human race. That's another thing that I hate when I hear people say, their argument about being anti-gay is, if everybody was gay, we wouldn't continue with our race. Our race would die off. First of all, the percentage of people who are gay is really low compared to the heterosexuals. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So nobody's going to stop 100% stop being straight.
And even though there are people that are gay, that doesn't stop them from having children. They still have surrogates.
Because there's some 70-30s. Some bi people who are liking ass, liking dick, liking pussy, liking everything. I think that the negativity is the problem.
It's unnecessary.
Back to Lil Scrappy and his foolishness. It's not the people being in the closet. It's the negativity towards the people that is forcing them
to act this
to be in the closet.
Because if there was no negative stigma attached to being gay, they could just be like, "This is me and this is who I am. I'm not gonna fuck you because that's not my MO.
You don't want to mess with me because I mess with men, so that's fine. I'm out of here." You feel what I'm saying? They can say, and that's they can be honest.
The case that you got right there.
Since you guys think it's the gays giving it to you, then stop being fucking laid and fucking shady and let people do what they want to do, and then you will know if your boyfriend is on the down low, because he wouldn't be on the down low because it wouldn't be any kind of consequences coming to him from that. He can be bi and be honest about it without any kind of negative.
And when you was talking about the continuing the human race thing, another thing I'd be talking about was it's kind of unfair because, like, what about those heterosexual couples that for whatever reason can't have their own children? It's like, so what's to say about them? Like,
they're not real women?
Are they not real men? Like, if the man for whatever can't get his soldiers to march, is he not a real man? Or
that's basically what they're saying, that because you are not having children, that you are a... What is it? You're an abomination. You can't. You're not multiplying, as the Bible says. So therefore,
those are multiplying on doing shit for the kids to help them grow and mature. So Did I go somewhere? Did I step on a nerve or something?
Y'all bitches out here having all these heterosexual sex, having all these heterosexual based babies and claiming welfare and not taking care of them. Then you see the one with the dude had 30 kids. He actually is from my city. I know him. With some Hatchet. His last name is Hatchet. I used to mess around with his nephew. Anyway. He have all these kids. You having all these kids and not taking care of them. But nobody is saying anything about that. But it's the gays.
Oh.
You're not procreating. Anyway.
So, we're the human... we keep the population at a steady. We're kind of steady the population.
We're controlling the overpopulation.
Controlling the population. Okay, we are here for a reason.
I did a video about that. Do you think that you know? But I didn't. This is my thing. People thinking that the gay has like this flourish of gayness had just came. Like, oh, it's the end of the world. The gays are just taking
We've been
over.
here since.
But what it is that people are getting more accepting. When you see people like Ellen and people like RuPaul even, people kind of, like, especially in the trans community, they kind of shade RuPaul. But, you know, he's not a trans. I mean, he's not trans. But the whole drag thing, he put on the map.
He puts it, out there to where it's, recognized.
Right. And I think that because you see all these people, when a child is growing up, regardless if they are in a Christian home, whatever home, an anti-gay home, whatever, when they have those natural inclinations to be gay or trans, and they see somebody that is like them, regardless if you tell them that it's wrong or whatever, when they get grown, they're going to be drawn to it because that is what they naturally are. That's why you see these 2-year-olds, 3-year-old, 4-year-old little boys and little girls acting like the opposite sex or being attracted to something that you didn't teach them to do, but it's just in them. Wrong? It's just in them. And you can't stop it. And because people are more accepting now, there's more people who's going to come out and say, this is what I am and it is okay. That's why you are seeing it more often now. Not because it was not around. It's just not hidden anymore.
Right. It's the stigma is slowly being removed. I don't know how many years it's going to take to really, if it's ever going to get to the point where it needs to get to, because there are still, I believe there was
it's never going to go away. If you go back, think about the civil rights movement happened in the 50s, 60s.
My bad.
Happened in the 50s, 60s, and here we are, 2012, and Obama is still getting called monkeys. Our president is still getting called monkeys, and still, people are still seeing interracial couples. And now when you see interracial couple, it's like nothing. But there's still some people who are like...
It's just from that old age, and they're teaching it to the new ones. And eventually, I think it'll still die off, because it's like the new ones are kind of having their own mind and their own way of seeing things, to where they don't really look at the, past way of thinking anymore. But it's going to take a lot of time for that to kind of filter out, if ever.
And the baby boomers are about to die.
You think so?
The baby boomers are about to die. Like, their time, they're coming into, like, their 70s and stuff. So their lifespan is about to be done. So once, not saying that the baby boomers are the cause, but you get what I'm saying? That era, they're the end of the era of the, that strict, racism and women's revolution. They're the end of that era. And I think that eventually it's going to be like...
Well, yeah, hopefully in this generation, or maybe the next two, hopefully we're still alive to see where that stigma, to where you won't see all the gay bullying will be minimal to none, and the whole suicide rate will be minimal, and this, all these cases of these 4 and 5-year-olds being killed, usually by their fathers, because they had an inkling in their head that they may be gay, or even just because they're not I'm trying to play a sport with my son, and he's not, responding, and he walks a certain way, he interacts with other boys and laughing and giggling and doing all this other nonsense. Hopefully that will be, because that is the most ridiculous. How you gonna condemn a 4-year-old for being that's like the most natural form of a human being. He doesn't know anything about the outside world. He is just being his natural self. And you're going to condemn that because it's not what you envision him to be.
What he's talking about is that there was a guy who killed a 4-year-old because he smacked another little boy on the ass. Like they were playing and he smacked another little boy on the ass, and the guy killed the 4-year-old and because he thought he was gay. Shady.
It's cruel and unusual.
I think that once those people die off, I think it's going to be fine. I definitely don't think it's going to change in our lifetime. I think we're going to see the gradual lighten up. You feel what I'm saying? Just like we saw in our lifetime, in my mom's lifetime, a black president.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that over time, we're going to see more and more people being more and more accepting.
It matters if they continue it down the generation, if they teach it to the younger people, if they receive it the same way. And it's up to them on how they take it and act with it, if it'll go away or not. Right. If they continue it, then we're still at square one.
Where we are today is an interesting time. Interesting time. We're in that, compared to the civil rights movement, again, we're in that 40s, 50s, 60s era where things are changing and they're coming to a head.
And people don't know how to deal with a lot of things.
It.
But I think after we get, because we have gotten past it, but we've sort of gotten through racism, or we've broken through at least the main barrier, and we've broken through sexism to a certain extent. And now we're coming, right. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like we've
come far.
We've accomplished to a certain degree to where it's not, so bad to where they have no say or no kind of right. So now we're tackling this whole homosexual and sexuality thing. Once we've gotten to a certain point beyond this, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any other issue left in humanity other than your sex, your race, and your orientation. There's nothing else about us that we can have a considered gray area.
Now you know that the sexual revolution started to happen when the 60s movement happened. You know that, right? Stonewall happened the same time that the civil rights stuff was going on. So I think
we've been dealing with it.
We've been dealing with this. It's just taking longer and longer and longer, because the reason why that is really simple. Race issue is more immediate because you can immediately tell it. I can tell you're black. You can tell I'm black. Whereas sexuality, you can hide it, you can't see it, you can bury it, you can avoid the discrimination that comes from sexuality. So it's going to take a longer time to get that out. But when you come out the pussy and you black and you can't go get a job, or whatever kind of discrimination is going to happen, you can't hide it. We are giving it to you. So it's more urgent, and that's why the change was more urgent.
Right.
But anyway, 45, 46 minutes.
Oh, shit. Well, we had a lot to say.
We had a lot to say.
A few little topics steered off into...
We hope that you guys enjoyed it. My name is Diamond.
And my name is Jamard.
84.
Oh, yeah. You can follow me. Follow me on Twitter.
I'm going to put it right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is my... Oh, let me just say that this is my Inferno chain, you guys. For those of you that are interested or are going to go to Inferno this year, what's today's date? Today is the 7th or 8th, or what the fuck is it? Today is I want to say it's the 7th. I want to say.
Is it the 7th?
Yeah,
7th.
It's the 7th. Those of you that are still planning to go to Inferno, you have until July 15th to make your payments. And the payment plans are actually sold out at the moment, but you can go on their website and get all the information. You have to get your own flights there now. They still offer the deals as far as the packages as far as the room and drinks and stuff is concerned. But now since it's so close, it's for Labor Day weekend. They're offering no more flights through the company, so you have to get your own flight. But you can go to infernodrmen.com and get the rest of the information. So I'll be there. I just got my passport and I just paid off my balance the other day, so I'll be there. I hope to see you guys there too.
All right, this is your girl Diamond. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.